Hello, I'm Kimberly, and I went through over a decade of severe chronic illness, and I had extreme sensory processing. As you might notice, there is a ring light reflection in my glasses, and there is absolutely no way that I would have been sitting in front of this light about 4 years ago now. So I was going to go through the various things that I did to help with my sensory processing while I was brain retraining out of sensory processing and doing other things to come out of my chronic experiences, and things that still help today when I'm in situations that feel more overwhelming, like going into stores or large crowds or things like that. So obviously the sunglasses is something that helps. Now, these are way more stylish, and you can see my face through them in this shot here. These are not the glasses that I was wearing when I had sensory processing. I actually threw them away in a ceremony when I did not need them anymore. I had the big old 80-year-old sunglasses, the giant, well, I mean, these are pretty big too, but the big black, the darkest lenses possible, and the ones that had like the full side, you know what I'm talking about? So those were the glasses that I basically lived in. And then for some of the other things that I have done, I had earplugs. So these ones actually have funny shaped ears. So they're kind of stuck in here, but I had cut, this is not one that's cut, but I had cut these in half so that they fit in my ear better. And then I would squeeze it up and push it in. It wasn't going to get stuck in my ear. I have very small ears. That has been confirmed by a doctor. So I would cut those in half and put them on. Now these foamy guys would not stay in my ears. So something, if I wanted to do them alone without something to hold them on, like headphones or a hat, what I would do is use the wax earplugs. The only thing with the wax earplugs is that I had a lot of candida and I had chronic ear infections, so I would kind of try not to wear those so much, but they were the ones that blocked out the sound enough that I could go out into some crowded space and they really like held that noise out, like so much so that the sound was so painful that like I just wished I couldn't hear because it was so bad, like horrible, to where even sitting in a room and hearing a little buzzing or something like that was making me feel nauseous or making me feel like I was going to lose my mind. So the weighing out of being able to leave the house and for my mental and physical health versus getting an ear infection often meant that I had ear infections a lot. And so that was what I did for that. The other thing was when I was wearing these, I was usually wearing my noise canceling headphones, and I was often wearing my noise canceling headphones in general. So with the wax earplugs in and these on top of it, that would really cancel out a lot. Sometimes I would put the wax in one ear so that I could hear people's voices and have this on. There is no music on in these. That would have driven me insane. But I did have the noise canceling turned on. So when I was researching headphones, I also just was in excruciating pain all the time and actually having things over my ears because my ears were pretty much always in pain. I mean, like seriously, I had chronic ear infections and my jaw was always in pain. I had TMJ pain and just everything hurt. So I was researching the headphones that were going to be the most comfortable, and these ones are the Bose Comfort Care, I believe is what they're called. They are falling apart now. This just happened about six months ago or so. They are about 5 years old now, and they are an amazing purchase. They also have this on the top of the head so that it's a little bit softer up there. Some of these are really hard and bulky, and when I was reading reviews for things, that was something that the most important thing was I needed to actually be able to put them on my head, which some days I was weighing out the pain of the headphones or weighing out the pain of the sensory processing, or many days I should say. Another thing is wearing a hat, and I still do this a lot as I am just somebody who has been more sensitive to wind, and my ears as well be more sensitive in general. So the hat, it's interesting because the hat will block out anything from your ears, wind getting in your ears. It takes a lot of the sensory like what your body has to take in from the head sensory processing wise, it takes that, cuts it down a lot. So if you think about wind coming at your body, it's hitting you in different directions, and subconsciously or somewhat consciously, your body is trying to figure out what to do with that stimulation. Like it's trying to say, is this safe? Do I have to lean a certain way into the wind? Do I have to turn so I can hear better? And it's constantly calculating things when there's wind. So wind can really wear people out. People will get tired in the wind because it's so much that it is processing. It's also carrying away moisture from our body and cooling our body down. So also on the back of the neck, in Chinese medicine, they talk about this a lot, to cover the back of the neck. And if you have probably had older people in your life who have worn scarves a lot, or said that their neck is getting chilled or getting a stiff neck from the wind, that's because as we get older, we're more sensitive there. But also if our energy is lower, if our immune system is lower, we are more susceptible to that, what's called a wind gate back here, taking our chi away, or, you know, it's a lot more for our body to process. That's the top of our spinal cord there and up into our brain stem. So that is, if that's getting hit, that's taking a lot of sensory processing for our body to do. So the other thing that I would do was to wear something with a hood. And that, because I'm not really a scarf fan, but the hood is really helpful for me. I even have had the hoods where they're not actually attached to something, but they go down further. Or it's like a hood that kind of stops right here, and you can kind of tuck it into something. So if something's not thick enough, again, this is going like extreme, but it works. So this is what I look like leaving the house all the time. Earplugs. Oops, I had my headphones on. Headphones on, and it depended on, like, I would pick this would not be the beanie I would actually wear with this because it folds right here. I would have picked a different beanie, but I mean this works too. And sunglasses and hood. So this is blocking out so much of the sensory input that is coming in, or minimizing it anyway. Another thing you can also do is, if you like to wear baseball caps, they'll give you that extra shield right here too. But now my eyes are covered from any extra light stimuli coming in, so it's minimizing that. My ears are obviously covered in 3 layers here with the hat, with the headphones, and the earplugs, well, actually 4, and the hood. My neck is covered, and even like the top of my head is covered here. So it's all of this is protected. Our head has so much heat in it, and when it's exposed to the wind and cold in general, that means that our body has to work harder to pump more heat and up to the head to keep it warm, which ends up depleting the rest of the body. So if we are already depleted in various forms, then wearing all this lovely getup here can help to keep our head warm so that our body isn't working extra hard. You may notice also, if you get cold in certain areas like your hands, or maybe even your belly, oddly my butt cheeks get cold very fast, that like wearing extra layers to like warm up your body in certain areas can help to keep that heat going in those places as well. So kind of just working with what works for you. it definitely was not about fashion. Now there's ways that I can be a little bit more fashionable with this, like wearing these cuter sunglasses. I do wear beanies all of the time. I always have at least one beanie in my car. I have multiple different beanies. This is like my thickest one, and it has this extra roll over the ears so that it helps to protect my ears, because that's the thing that becomes sensitive in the wind or the cold. But yeah, these were lifesavers for me. So I just really want to share that, especially if you are brain retraining and you're in your specific training zones for sensory processing or even anxiety. This can be super helpful to get out of the house, because anxiety is that wind energy. It's too much stirring. It's the mind going. It's movement. So when we are out in other movement, whether it's people around us, sounds around us, like all of that is movement, either in the sound waves, movement in the light waves, movement in the actual movement of people or things going on around us, that can stir up that anxiety more. So that's why in crowds, in crowded places, places with a lot of noise, movement and light, it can make us feel more anxious. So grounding ourselves down, like actually putting weight on our head and grounding us down, it's like a weighted blanket that we can take around with us. So that helps to ground down right there. In the winter, it makes it extra easy because you can wear a heavier fleece or something like that. Also wearing soft things like this, like I love my soft fleeces. They really help to soothe my nervous system. Those things can really help you to get out of the house. I dealt with extreme anxiety. I had agoraphobia for a while, the fear of leaving the house, because everything was painful. Everything was so hard to get out of the house. I had a fear of, you know, what if I go there and I need to leave right away? And then I didn't drive at the time, so I need somebody that just took me somewhere to take me back home, and then they have to leave. And so there were so many different reasons why I didn't go out and do things. But having my tools and my basics was really helpful. I also used diazepam, which is a form of Valium, and that was something that was one of the only things that worked for me. I did not have a normal response to it, so I actually had some genetic testing done that showed that diazepam itself was the only one, and I had to have it by a certain manufacturer as well that would do what this drug did to me. Was it actually calmed my nervous system down to a point where it gave me energy, because my body wasn't trying to over process everything. It was calming my nervous system down, and I felt safer in that way. The pain would go away. I could understand language better. I could be involved in something. I could get something done outside of the house, even going to a doctor's appointment. I'm definitely not giving medical advice here or saying that anybody else should do this. I'm just saying that this is what worked for me when I was in the extremes of, like, even getting in a car. I would actually put my sweatshirt on backwards like this, and I would have all the stuff on. I would have, obviously it wouldn't be a white sweatshirt, but I would have all of my things on in the car with my Valium, and I would put my hood over my head like this. It was dark hood so that I couldn't see, because the light flickering past the trees and the things in the sky, it created that strobe light effect, and I would feel like I was about to have a seizure. I did not have epileptic seizures, but I had what's like called like Lyme seizures. So my body would start to go into spasm with the light flickering and everything. So those were ways that I was able to get to where I am now in stepping stones. So if you were at a place where you're like, how the hell am I going to get out of this? Like, look at where I'm at. I was wearing my sweatshirt backwards in a car, trying not to have a panic attack, trying to just like literally bracing and holding onto the car, trying to get to a doctor's appointment. And now I am driving all over the place on my own and going anywhere, doing anything I want, eating anything I want. So it is absolutely possible to get out of a crazy, insane place. And these kinds of things can be incredibly helpful. So if you have things that work for you, please leave a comment down below, because that is something that might help somebody else as well, that they haven't thought about, or maybe they used it for a while and they forgot about it and they're like, oh yeah, that's right, that actually helped. Because I definitely have done that, where, you know, I go through phases of things and then I forget about them and move on to something else. So that could be helpful. And please give this video a like so that other people might get some help. If you found some help in this in any way, that other people might get some help from this as well. And I just want to say, you are way, way stronger than you think you are. Look at all that you've gotten through. You're incredible. And nobody can understand this to the level that we understand this unless you have gone through this. And don't let anybody tell you what you have experienced or what you are experiencing is not valid, because it absolutely is. All right. Well, I send you so much love, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.